All right, there's a couple of miscellaneous things here that I want to get to that are somewhat WWE related. One of which is something kind of interesting has been floating around the internet, and it's pretty much just a rumor from what I know, but I think it would be pretty cool if it came true. Colt Cabana might be in the running for being a commentator on WWE TV.
That would be cool. I've heard that, CM Punk has been able to get him a couple of tryouts or whatever, and WWE's still not interested in him.
That's
But I can't imagine what does he got to do to
I think it's his demeanor.
You think
the
so?
reason he got let go in the first place is I think he wanted to do a lot of things his way.
Yeah.
When he was training in FCW, it just felt like he didn't want to learn. He just wanted to translate what he brought from himself into WWE, and I don't think that's what they were looking for. I've heard some of his podcasts. He has some good podcasts, but I think he has a lot of resentment still of why he got let go, and I think that when you burn a bridge like that, it's hard to cross it coming back. As much as there's guys that now that are that used to be in ROH like Bryan and Punk that might have a word in like, hey, Trips, Champion Colton, we dropped them, we dropped names.
Which is what CM Punk's been doing,
Yeah, he's been at ringside at some matches, Let's get him back in here. But I think they're keeping their eye on him they're just trying to make sure that did he learn his lesson?
Yeah, but it's if there's anybody that's got pull in WWE as far as talent goes, I would think it'd be CM Punk, and to an extent, But if CM Punk's gonna recommend, for them to hear this guy out, I can't imagine it being that bad for them to hire him. I don't know.
And you got to consider the position. I can understand what you're saying, Chris, if we were talking about him trying to be a wrestler. Mm-hmm. But we're talking about him being a commentator. I don't know if the whole thing about resentment and this and that really should play too much into the commentator thing. Because look at Joey Styles. And look at some other guys that aren't like totally 100% pro WWE with like Bradshaw. Bradshaw's kind of always wanted to do his own thing. He's got the Layfield report. He does his own, stuff with the money things and all that. I don't see where there's so much stuff that so much room there of things that he wants to do his way when it just comes to commentary and that's it. And he's good at talking.
Here's my rebuttal to that.
Okay.
Did you ever hear why Mick Foley didn't want to be a commentator anymore?
No, why?
Because when the commentators are there in the ring, the headset...
Vince is in his ear.
Vince is always in his ear. So if Colt Cabana's already having a hard time trying to adjust to the ring, what kind of attitude will Colt Cabana bring when he can't adjust to somebody speaking in his head while he's trying to commentate?
Yeah.
He can't take direction in the ring. What makes you think he's going to take direction behind the microphone? Especially when you're behind the microphone, if for some reason they wind up moving him to a live show or a pay-per-view or anything like that, and he's live, we'll have that Heyman syndrome where Heyman dropped the line of Trish Stratus and he's in DC and he's going to see Bush the first night. Like he didn't know the lines he couldn't cross. Yeah. And when Colt Cabana literally has the attitude that he's going to cross whatever lines in front of him in front of a live mic, to me that's where that mentality kicks in.
But I don't know Colt personally, but I don't see Colt as so much of a vindictive guy. I see him where even if there was something that he disagreed with or something Vince told him that he wants him to say something a certain way, he might put his own little spin on it, his own flavor on it, but I don't think he'll go out and outright disobey Vince.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he's like Paul Heyman, like he is that kind of guy where he will cross the line and say stuff like that. I think, I know he beats to his own drum, so to speak, but I don't think he's that, much of a loose cannon,
Especially now. Especially now with the position that Punk and Bryan are in. It's one thing when Punk and Bryan just broke into business, they don't have much of a voice. So when Colt Cabana comes in as the whatever Jewish character he had on SmackDown for a couple of months before he got let go, Scotty Goldman, as opposed to now where if like in a personal job, if I'm referring you, I'm putting my neck out for you. Don't make me look like an ass.
Yeah.
Don't screw up at work. So in that sense, like Punk and Bryan being where they're at now, if they're making if Punk is making the effort to get Colt Cabana in, I hope at least he respects the fact that if Punk's doing all this to get him in, that he wouldn't try to screw it up.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I hope that they can put all those differences aside, and if we just forget all that, because honestly, we don't really know what the backstage stuff is with all that. I mean, this is all.
Oh, I know. I talk to him every day. Like, I just got a message from him.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
But if we put that aside,
He says, fuck WWE.
if we put that aside and we just like want to dream a little bit here, how good do you think Colt Cabana could be being a commentator?
Honestly, I never heard him like commentate. I mean, I don't.
If it's anything like his podcast, he's real comfortable. He is from it. Some people have trouble speaking in public.
Yeah.
He sounds like he knows exactly what he's going to say, when he's going to say it. He can ad-lib on a snap of a finger if that requirement is there, if that option is there for him, that opening is there for him to do it.
Yes.
And if he sounds anything the way he does on the shows, I think as far as hearing him, he could be a really good commentator.
Yeah, and I would tend to agree with that. And I would also think that he would kind of bring an old school commentator type flavor to it. I mean, you know, kind of shades of Gorilla, where he's like the straight man, but he'll still throw in the little funny things here and there, and he could play off of somebody else who's more of a color man that would be a little bit funnier. But I think if you flip it around, he could still kind of be the funny guy too in a certain situation, you know? He can, I think he'd be able to pull that off, but really bring an old school style to it.
I think if he is going to come in as a commentator, it's going to work by them not acknowledging who he is. You know, because if they go in, hey, this is Colt Cabana, you know, as a commentator, it's going to set up expectations like, okay, who's this guy? You know, but if it's just, hey, we got a new commentator, you know, who's joining us now, you know, I think that might have a better way of weaving him into the WWE system.
Yeah.
That, you know what? I agree with you on that. That's a good idea.
And the other thing is to not overdo it. Learn from people's mistakes.
Yes.
You know, segue into Matt Stryker, who just didn't get who didn't get his contract renewed, so he's probably not going back to the company. You know, Stryker had his moments where he would bring up he like a lot of facts, like old wrestling knowledge, and it just some of it sounded really forced. A lot of it sounded like it wasn't him. He would drop a lot of comic references or other like pop trivia, pop culture references that really didn't make sense.
That were obscure as hell.
Yeah, wait a minute.
To the small person to the few people that would get that joke would be really good.
Yeah.
But for the mainstream audience, it would fall flat.
Yeah. I really liked Matt Stryker actually as a commentator, but there were times when he said something and I was like, what the hell is he talking about? But when I did understand what he was talking about, I did get the reference. I'm like, oh, this guy's amazing.
But we're the minority.
Exactly.
Because we get a lot of those references. We know about all the old 80s flashbacks or the old wrestling stuff, the old Gorilla references he would drop, or the old comic references, or the old whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The mainstream audience doesn't know half of that stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
You know? So for that's probably what might have been his downfall.
I don't think it sounds forced, like you said. I think it sounds forced when Michael Cole starts dropping facts.
Yeah.
On the drop of a dime, he starts dropping, you know, like, oh, he knows all this shit all of a sudden.
Yeah.
That's forced. But when Matt Stryker was doing it, some of it was obscure even for, you know, me. I was like, what the fuck is he talking about? But I could get the gist of what he was going with on that. The only thing that would irritate me was sometimes he would, like, have some kind of moniker for everybody, which is funny, but he, like, had it, like, something for, like, get to your point, you know? But, I don't know, that's just the, you know, I like him better as a commentator than as a, backstage interviewer.
Yeah.
He got too, like, quiet and emotional when he was trying to interview.
Like, he tried to play the coward too much.
Yeah. Is that what he was trying to do? Yeah.
I think so. He's trying to be this little coward dude, so. But, you know what, I honestly am gonna miss him a little bit for being a commentator. Cause like I said, I liked his commentary, and I was kind of pulling for him a little bit to kind of get to that spot, cause, oh man, Lawler, it's getting to be to where it's getting close to being the old yeller, time for Lawler, you know? He's starting to lose it.
There has to be some kind of warning flags for the commentary for them to actually make the effort to try to get Colt Cabana in there. That doesn't just say something for how good or how personable Colt Cabana could be on the microphone, but on the other side, it shows how bad the commentary on Raw or the commentary in general is getting.
Yeah.
I do find it interesting that on SmackDown they had JBL, Cole, and Matthews, and they're trying something with Matthews for a couple of weeks where he'd be healing it up against
JBL.
No. Against who's in the main event?
Ryback?
Or was that the Brian Orton match number 2?
No, he was like healing it up against one of the faces in it.
Yeah,
anyway, but they dropped that and they pushed him onto the main event now. And he's not even on SmackDown anymore. So I don't know if they're trying something that wasn't working because Matthews just can't pull that off, or if they just wanted to just get rid of the 3-man booth. I don't know. It was just, I thought it was kind of weird that they were starting that up. And then
and then it didn't go nowhere.
They took him off. They didn't drop it. They took the ass off the show and put him onto another show.
For me, it's going to be different for Stryker. I mean, for me personally, I think his whole story of how he got there, you got to respect that. You know,
definitely.
Teacher went out to the tryout for the Kurt Angle challenge, and then he wound up getting an offer. He wound up quitting as a teacher to get his dream job. And even though he couldn't wrestle anymore, he was still working for his dream company. You know, there's people that can't even get that far.
Is there a reason why he stopped wrestling?
I think it was an injury.
Was it?
Was it? I thought maybe just WWE didn't.
That's what I thought. I didn't know of any injuries. I just thought they just switched him to a commentator.
Yeah, I thought maybe they just didn't care for his wrestling style.
Did you see any of his indie stuff before he got to WWE?
No.
Check it out. Do a Google search for Matt Striker Macho Man.
Oh,
he had a gimmick in 3PW, where he came out as Macho Man.
Really?
Have you heard? I mean, have you heard his Macho Man impersonation?
No.
He did it on a WWE video once. I can't remember which one it was, but yeah, he does a pretty sick.
Was it a Halloween special of SmackDown where he dropped an impersonation, or was some?
It was something on the website.
Party?
It was
okay.
yeah, I can't remember what it was, but yeah.
Oh God, I gotta go. You know what? You gotta put this on
Facebook, on the book face.
On Facebook.
I was actually gonna do it last week, but I went with that other one instead.
Oh, okay. Well, this week do that for Throwback Thursday, and we'll.
Two Matt Strikers? Nah, just go Google it.
Okay, we'll go Google it. Fine,
Lazy.
fine. Okay, all right. One last miscellaneous WWE thing, and we'll be done for the WWE. Benoit.
To who?
5 years ago, yesterday, nothing happened.
Yeah, 5 years ago yesterday, everything was just a normal day.
Yeah, it was fine.
No, it was the anniversary of Benoit doing his, to everybody. So there was an interesting little thing that I saw.
Can we talk about this?
Maybe.
Are they going to shut us down?
Oh, man. Well, you're the white man.
Yeah.
Are you going to shut it down?
Oh, I'll let it go.
All right.
Are you on Vince's payroll?
I wish. Wouldn't be living here.
We have 3 mics instead of 1.
This is
right,
true.
yeah.
Well, 2.
Yeah, we're over here
yeah.
sitting in each other's laps trying to get to the one mic.
Oh, I thought this was a full-time gig. I thought this was the job. There's one night only.
Oh, yeah.
Y'all vote. If y'all want me to stick around, I'll drive over here. If not, the hell with you.
Yeah, we'll go on to the Houston Wrestling Radio app and vote for whether or not you...
I have to be better than Porsche at least. Come on, people. Come on.
Yeah. Porsche.
You are.
All right, good. Thank you.
Anyway, so yeah, Benoit on Twitter. Jericho posted an old picture of him and Benoit together.
Who's this? Why not?
Jericho.
Okay.
Yeah, he posted a picture of him and Benoit
Really?
on Twitter. Yeah,
Wow.
Yesterday or was it the day before? Something
That
like
explains why he's
yesterday.
not in the Money in the Bank.
That's
the
why.
person that invented the match isn't in it because he brought up Benoit. The ghost of Christmas Past.
Did he say anything or just posted the picture?
No, he just posted a picture. And I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. I guess that was his way of just saying, hey, it's the 5-year anniversary or something like that. He just posted a
It's
picture.
weird. It's already been 5 years, though. Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's been a long time, man.
About 5 years.
Yeah. Exactly, like you just said, right. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, do you remember, what was going on with you guys when all that went down?
No, I don't remember.
Really? WWE brainwashed you so you don't remember what's going on?
No, not because of that. I just really don't remember.
You don't remember?
Yeah. Chris, what about you?
Man.
Oh, no. He's pausing. Oh.
For me, one of the biggest letdowns in pro wrestling was we never got to see CM Punk against Chris Benoit. We were going to get that at Night of Champions for the ECW title.
That is true, yep. Mm-hmm.
And Benoit apparently was supposed to win the title that night.
Yeah.
That I remember.
Yeah.
And that Night of Champions was here in Houston.
And it was here in Houston.
Yeah.
My girlfriend at the time, who became my wife, Pookie. got me 6 row tickets on the floor.
Okay.
From Married with Children.
Okay.
6 row on the floor.
Nice.
The night before, I went to the house show in Beaumont, and it was supposed to be Benoit against Edge in the main event, and Benoit no-showed. So it turned out to be Ric Flair versus Edge, which nobody complained because it's freaking Ric Flair. The Ford Arena, Ford Center, Ford Park, whatever the building's called, it's Ford something in Beaumont. It's small, so there's like one exit where
the Ford Shack.
Yeah, the Ford Shack, the Ford Garage.
It's literally a dealership.
The Ford lot, yeah. 0% financing. They come out and there's one exit, and we're trying to get autographs, and we're asking the guys, and a lot of the guys look really dejected, like something was off.
Yeah.
Like something like there was a stink in the air. Something was wrong. The next night, Night of Champions, I'm like, I didn't care for anything else on the card. Cena, who, nothing. I didn't care. I wanted Benoit Punk. I was looking forward to it. Turns out we wind up getting some goof, Johnny Nitrous Oxide or Nitro or whatever. This goof or John
Unemployed,
John Morrison or John split-legged moonsault into nothing. I don't know.
Johnny Bedazzled.
That too. Yeah. And that was a good one. Yeah. No show again. And then the Raw after that. I know you guys saw the Raw after that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that or if you're contractually obligated not to say it, Travis.
Hey, you know what? I have recorded. I have on VHS.
Really?
I do.
Nice.
Cool.
You could see that show deteriorate from the beginning. Like in the beginning, empty arena, Corpus Christi.
Yeah.
I was tempted to go to that show too. Thank God I didn't. Not because of what happened, but just because I didn't want to drive all the way over there and then there was no show.
Right.
Yeah.
But regardless, the beginning of the show, the wrestlers are talking, the wrestlers are crying, big man sad, showing the best of. And then as the show goes on, like I'm double clicking during the commercials. I'm going to CNN, I'm going to Headline News, I'm going online, I'm seeing, like, hearing details of what's going on. And you can see it in some of the interviews. Like, it looked like they were taped like maybe 5 minutes before they aired, because towards the end, you can kind of see the writing on the wall, what happened.
Yeah.
And Triple H's, I remember Triple H's was one of the last ones, and he was cold. Like,
he was.
He wasn't saying anything about Benoit the person, or he was just talking about a couple of things about Benoit the wrestler, and then after that, there wasn't really much talking after that. I think, if I'm not mistaken, they still had JR and Lawler in the commentary booth where they would give their opinions, and they were introducing whatever matches of the best of.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they were just doing best of matches.
And then towards the end, they were just quiet. Like, they didn't do any cut-ins in between matches or in commercial breaks. They just played that last match of WrestleMania 20.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next night on ECW, they literally just wanted to wipe their hands clean of all of it.
Yeah.
I think John Cena came out as the first person that night.
Maybe.
Or somebody that we didn't expect came out on ECW in the whole thing. And it's just, it sucks, you know?
Yeah.
Benoit, and even now, you know, you had the interview with Jay Lethal, how he was a fan of Benoit.
Mm-hmm.
Bret Hart was on Stone Cold's podcast. I don't know if you guys catch that. And he brought up some good things about how he liked Benoit and how he liked his matches with Benoit. And it kind of sounds when people talk about it like they kind of don't want to.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
You know, Benoit is a wrestler. There's few that could touch him. You know, Benoit is a human, can eat shit. You know?
Yeah.
And it's hard because you can't do, like, as good as he was in the ring, that's always going to be eclipsed by 20 years of whatever he did in the ring is going to be eclipsed by one weekend of whatever ended up happening, you know, and it's a shame.
Yeah.
You know,
it is.
It's a real shame. And 5 years, like, it's funny how things have changed in the wrestling business in 5 years, especially after that. Like, I remember the controversy in the early 90s about Hulk Hogan and steroids, accusing Vince McMahon, giving the business a black eye. Benoit literally hung it.
Yeah.
He literally hung the business. Like, everything changed after that. You know, the steroid testing, drug testing, the brain exams.
If there's one good thing that came out of that, and I don't want to say good, but, you know, if there's one thing that came out of this whole thing was it did change the health, the health testing of the wrestlers, which is something that was never done before.
Yeah, more specifically, all the stuff with the concussions and all that.
Right.
You know, and that's kind of translated into not just wrestling, but into other sports too. Because, you know, the NFL now is all about, you know, safety for, you know, their players and, you know, with the concussions and things like that. And a lot of that came from, them, you know, dissecting Benoit's brain over at, Nowinski's Institute, you know, and saying, hey, his brain was mushed from all the concussions, and this is why it was like that. And we need to protect our wrestlers from concussions. That spilled over to NFL and other soccer,
especially
baseball,
since
and all that.
a lot of the really good wrestlers come from the NFL. Either they played in Canada or they played in the minor league. Even now, Titus O'Neil played college ball. And Goldberg obviously, and The Rock played ball in Miami U. Stuff like that. So they saw the connection, and it made a big difference in everything.
Yeah.
So I guess that would be like the one silver lining of all this with Benoit.
Yeah. Even then, I'd rather not have that silver lining if it ended up the way it did.
Yeah.
Like silver lining at the cost of two people, regardless of how bright it would be. I wouldn't catch that.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I think everybody wants a different outcome to what happened. I think everybody can agree on that.
Yeah.
And and it's I don't know if y'all check the boards or anything about some of the debates that come up talking about Benoit.
Oh, Kevin Sullivan did it, dude.
Yeah. There's all kinds of conspiracy theories. But there's people that talk about...
Well, it's because Punk didn't want to lose to him that night, so Punk did it.
He'd rather lose to Morrison.
Yeah.
That's it. But there's people talk about how they can they can still watch old Benoit matches even though they know what happened and there's some people that say I can't even watch those old matches because all those matches that he's taking headshots and doing headbutts and taking chair shots. All those things that you're seeing in those old matches is what
led to. So
you're essentially watching the decay of one man's, mind through watching all these matches. That's kind of a good point, because everybody praises the wrestler. He's an awesome, like I said, you can't, very few can touch him when it comes to in ring. But because of that attitude, because of that style that he had.
That was
So it's one of those things. I know people are saying that WWE and they don't need to, but they should start including him and start.
That's hard.
Yeah, I don't know how you can do that.
Impossible. I remember I think it was the first 2 or 3 months after the situation happened. I remember going into Toys R Us and we collect toys. We go hunting all the time looking for stuff. And I remember for some reason, just out of curiosity, I was looking at the WWE figures and they put stickers over Benoit's face.
I remember that. Yeah.
Really?
They were already trying to cover up the fact they were trying to wash their hands clean to Benoit, and they took his merch off even the DVDs.
From that point to today, they want to make sure that they get the point across that they are not profiting off of his likeness.
I think for the past couple of years, I don't know if it changed last Royal Rumble, they would have the timeline of the Royal Rumble, but they would conveniently leave off the fact that 1 year that Benoit won it. Mm-hmm. They would never put that on a timeline. Even now, I don't know how the situation is now, but I don't think they've still won.
What are you talking about? The year that he won the Rumble?
The year that he won the Rumble, they don't have it.
Well,
on the
again,
timeline.
WrestleMania 20, the main event. What do they do on that? And I think what they can do is they can start showing those matches, but do things where they edit out some of the commentary for his parts of it, or, don't play entrances, all kind of stuff, anything that would hype him up. Don't show that, don't showcase anything.
Maybe edit out the headbutts.
Yeah. No, seriously, no,
or chair shots or something that would trigger in your mind, oh shit, this might have been how it happened.
Exactly, yeah. Because, he was, an integral part of some of the storyline in the matches for a few years that he was in WWE. Yeah. And just for historical purposes, if you want to, especially for WrestleMania.
Eventually that stuff it won't be accepted, but I don't even know if tolerated would be the right word, but eventually it might just slowly start creeping in just to put it in the history books because you can't change history.
The War Games DVD.
That's what I was going to bring up.
He's in that DVD. He's on a match listed on there. But I think.
And he was in the WWE Encyclopedia that they just released.
Yeah. That says a lot right there.
Yeah.
More so than the matches, because the matches, he was part of a match.
With like a bunch of names.
Yeah, that could be easily edited, but for him to be...
Photoshop Steven Richards' head onto his body. Just saying Steven Richards.
Why Steven Richards?
I don't know.
Let's go with Mongo. I don't know why I said Mongo, but whatever.
We'll just have two Hogans in the ring, a face and a heel.
Hollywood and Hulk.
Yeah.
Hollywood Hulk and Rabbit Wolverine Hulk? What?
Yeah.
Crippler Hulk? Who's this?
God, all those nicknames that he had, Crippler, Rabid Wolverine, man. Yeah. Hey, have you seen that? There's a really creepy ass like video on YouTube. It was like Benoit doing a promo. Just do a YouTube search for Benoit creepy interview.
Are you taking notes? That's the second YouTube clip he wants us to find, y'all.
Yeah, because I'm lazy.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to take credit for this, but no, but there's one, it's very reminiscent of what he actually did. So I don't want to say anything else, but the writing was on the wall. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. I think I know what clip you're talking about. I think I showed it to you. Yeah, I think you have.
I didn't, because I was going to put that as a video, and I said, should I post this? And you're like, no, don't post that.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Yeah. Okay. You know what? This Benoit talk's bumming me out. Let's talk about something else. Let's move on to TNA. How about that?
I thought you were supposed to cheer us up.
Yeah, but let's cheer us up because we get to make fun of it.
Oh, okay.
I guess.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the life of the party, AJ Styles.
Oh, man. Let's see, where do we begin? You guys aren't a fan of the new AJ Styles.
Not so much. I like the Calf Killer, but I don't like his more methodical, slower pace now.
I'm indifferent to it.
You're indifferent to it?
Yeah.
Let's see if I could try to get into you guys' head.
Oh,
okay. Ooh.
Calm down, Abel. He said head.
Oh, okay.
Wait. There we go. That's his erection. Let's see. So,
I was just gonna say inside joke, but whatever.
The last AJ heel turn. Did you buy it?
No.
Why?
AJ's another one of those guys to me that just seems like he's a natural born face. I don't buy AJ as a heel.
He was a heel first, wasn't he?
Yeah, but
he's been a heel a few times. He had that situation with Kurt and Karen Angle where he was trying to get with Karen Angle.
Yeah.
And then he was the Prince of Phenomenal or something. And then there was another heel turn in between. Where he
Prince of Phenomenal. Was that when he was with Ric
Prince
Flair?
of something. He had a crown, kind of, where he was the Prince of something.
Oh, Jesus. I forgot about that.
Yeah. I remember that Starscream wannabe looking thing on his head. And
2 points for you, sir.
Then he was in another heel thingy with Flair or something. I forget. But the thing that I noticed, looking back at all that stuff, the surroundings were different, but you still had the same AJ. Whether he was a face or whether he was a heel, he still did the high-flying stuff. He still did the flippy-dippy stuff. He still had the same mannerisms. He still had the same finish. He still had everything. It was pretty much just AJ Styles It was pretty much just AJ Styles.
Yeah.
This time, they're actually doing a good job of differentiating him from everybody. You know, when I don't know if you guys have thought about it. When you go back in the past, Steve Austin, badass, one-man wrecking crew, black. Goldberg, unstoppable freight train, wearing black. Sting, loner, on his own, curl on his shoulder, baseball bat beating the hell out of everybody, all in black. That's Taker. Black is dead. Black is death. The way they're doing AJ Styles, this is the first heel turn. This is the first, or face turn, or tweener turn, or first character that he's actually different. And it's not just the surroundings where he's on his own. He's not looking for friends. He's turning on TNA. He's turning on Aces and Eights. He's the one-man wrecking crew. It's not just, we're going to make a darker person. I know you're staring at the clock. This is going to be the longest marathon episode ever. Who cares? It's not just the surroundings. It's not just the fact he's wearing black. Literally, he's a different wrestler. He's not the flippy dippy. He's not the X Division. He's not the TNA X Division legend. He's a different guy. He's more methodical. He's more defensive. His whole wrestling perception has changed. His whole moveset has changed. The finisher, the calf killer, something completely different. I think as long as the booking doesn't screw it up, this could probably be AJ's best character he's had in TNA.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, right now I disagree with you because of that. Because they've changed his moveset and all that thing and all those things there. I think that they've grounded him too much with this new in-ring style, and I don't really like it. But then again, maybe that's the point. You know, they're trying to get us to not like him, and you know, get more of that heel stuff out of him. But he's still pulling out cool things, you know, like the calf killer and whatnot. But man, I don't know. I mean,
sure, he's being a lot more stiff too. I don't know if you've noticed. He's still, instead of doing like the kicks in the corner or the drop kick, he's throwing a lot more punches, a lot more headshots.
Yeah,
it's like a more methodical attack from AJ as opposed to just a random,
almost a
brawler type. Yeah.
Well, all right. You know, I can see that and see, you know, that maybe this is all on purpose and how you might think that it's better and that you would like it. I don't, because I miss old AJ. And I don't know if there's anybody else that could fill his shoes. Because Saban's great, but Saban's not AJ. You know? And right now there's nobody else in TNA that still has that style that TNA was known for. You know, TNA was known for the crazy flippy spots and the jumping off the roofs of the big old cage and everything.
Those days are gone.
But they don't have to be gone. That's my point.
They are, though.
They are, but they don't have to be.
I think my point to you is that you're saying that you don't like it because you miss the old AJ.
Yeah.
The reason I like it is because we've had the old AJ since AJ's been there.
Right.
You know, so that's fair. What, like, we're on the same coin. We're just on the different side of it because of the same reasons.
Yes.
You know, it's just our perspective on it as opposed to you're used to the new old AJ, and I'm starting to get the hang of this new AJ. I like it a lot.
Okay. Were you like that from the get go, or you just over the weeks?
I was in Abel's shoes. You know, I was like, man, what are they going to do with this AJ character? You know, when they start, but then when I started paying attention to the changes, started paying attention to the differences, and I was thinking, you know what, this could work, you know, because, apart from Samoa Joe, who's real physical, and Austin Aries, when it's singles matches, he could be physical. It might be a little bit different during the tag matches, but I've never seen AJ as a physical wrestler, you know. When he first started as the X Division, he almost looked like a pipe cleaner. He was thin. You know, now he's been there for 10 years. He's had experience. He's not only wrestled X Division wrestlers, he's wrestled different kinds of wrestlers. He's wrestled Kurt Angle, Olympic gold medalist. He's wrestled Abyss. He's wrestled all kinds of different guys to like widen his scope of wrestling. So where he can actually pull something different. And the fact that we're getting a different kind of moveset, a different kind of character, pretty much a more built AJ. He's a lot bigger.
Right, yeah, he is.
You know?
Yeah.
So in certain areas, you can see his belly because, you know, he's getting big. But everywhere.
He's not getting any younger either.
Yeah, and that too, he's not getting any younger. So at some point, the 10 years ago AJ Styles might not work for his body the way it might work now. Mm-hmm. So instead of risking that, why not adapt? You know? For me, might be a little bit off course. I don't know if I've mentioned this to you guys before. One of my favorite wrestlers is Terry Funk.
Okay.
You know, because he used to be a technical wrestler, and then as the time went, he evolved. He got more hardcore. His promos were even better. Like he was able to adapt with the times and what they were going for. Mm-hmm. And I think AJ not really adapting to the times, but adapting to himself, to his body, to his age, knowing that he might not be able to make it as long if he keeps going the X Division route.
Yeah.
So trying something different, trying something more slower, trying something a little more methodical, and having the experience of wrestling other guys in the roster as opposed to just straight up X Division being in the category, I think is doing them a whole lot of good. Especially if the payoff to this whole Aces and 8 TNA storyline is AJ Styles winding up being with TNA, I think this AJ Styles would be better off on Team TNA than the AJ last year or the year before, where that moveset might not have got it done.
Well, that being said, I'm glad you brought that up. Do you think that AJ is not going to be the loner? You think he is going to wind up being with TNA this whole time? Or, I mean, because right now it's pretty clear cut that he's not with TNA and he's not with Aces and Eights. He's the loner. But do you think we'll get that swerve eventually?
With TNA, you never know. That's the other curveball. Like if
TNA is anything, they're unpredictable.
Or the opposite. We'll get to that later.
Okay.
But they've had history. They've had moments where they copy stuff from the past, mostly WCW, and then there are times where they pull something out that's completely left field. So whether he winds up joining TNA or if the storyline ends up that he wins as a rogue or as he wins as a one-man army, regardless of what it ends up, it's got my attention now.
Okay.
The AJ storyline's got my attention now to where, as opposed to maybe 2 years ago or last year when he was trying to run for Bound for Glory, the whole situation with the cheating on his wife or whatever,
last
and then
year,
losing all that storyline's junk. What we got of AJ right now, it's got my attention.
Maybe that's why I couldn't get on board with AJ's transformation, because the whole build up to it and the way it caused it to happen. It's like I just couldn't get into it. It was too much of a hack and just a remake of Sting, and in the storyline getting into it was, this whole scandal thing was just stupid. Yeah. But I that's the one thing I'll agree with you on that is the moveset. I have seen a change, like you said, with throwing the punches. I noticed the last couple of weeks. I'm like, damn, he's been
hard. Like, yeah, he doesn't slap his thighs
because he didn't do that before.
Nope.
No, I mean, and Calf Killer's okay. I mean, I like it. It's different, and it works for him because it's like some more methodical,
And even now for the Bound for Glory series, where the submission gets the most points, and he never had one. So now having that would help him get further up the ranking in the tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm glad they didn't give him a generic finisher like a Cloverleaf or a Boston Crab or something like that. At least it's something unique.
Yeah.
One thing I got to, they did complete the whole package, get the new entrance music and his merchandise and all the other stuff. I will say I kind of wish they dropped the hand thing.
Yeah, that's not working for me.
That just throws his whole thing off. Like he's all serious. It's just the whole glove thing off. Just out of left field,
that probably, if they are going to really go full force with this transformation into a whole different AJ, they need to get rid of that little hand signal thing. Cause that's a
face thing to do.
It's a face thing.
And he's got to be neutral. You can't play to the crowd like that.
It's a face thing and it's a little bit too cutesy.
Exactly, yeah. It's like the old AJ.
Yeah.
Which I thought it was weird that he was still wearing the gloves in the first place, and then I think it was last week actually did the hand signal. Really? It is okay, but and to answer your question about him, joining TNA, whatever. Basically, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to wait for Ace and Eights to create the Wolfpack, and then he's going to join. God. He's going to join Ace and Eights Wolfpack, and he's going to be a part of that group.
Well, we don't have Team TNA now because we have the Main Event Mafia.
Yeah. Well.
So
I see what you did there.
Yeah. Let's talk about Main Event Mafia here a little bit. I thought that going into this past week's Impact that we were going to have a reveal of everything that was going to be in the Main Event Mafia, and I guess that was a little bit too much for me to kind of expect. I guess it was maybe a little naive of me that we were going to see who all was in it. So yeah, of course they're going to drag it out and just show one by one who's in the Mafia. And the first one is Kurt Angle, which, hey, we called that, but I don't think we could be too proud of that because I think everybody else and their mama called that. Yeah. So, yeah, it was Kurt. Of course, it's going to be Kurt. Who else?
I think what hurt last week's episode was the fact that they only revealed one member. And the reason I say that is because at the end of the show, or as Hogan likes to say, at the end of the day.
At the end of the day, brother!
At the end of the day, all the Ace and Ace guys were taken out in the back by
Kurt Angle.
Kurt Angle, I guess?
Kurt took them all out?
What?
Really?
Why now? Why are they able to do that now?
Yeah, Kurt wasn't able to do that 5 weeks ago?
Yeah. But if they had all members of Main Event Mafia with them, that would make more sense, right?
Yeah.
No?
I'm not a fan of this from the jump.
Okay. Really? Okay, what's that?
Were you a fan of the original Main Event?
It was alright. It had his moment. Booker T with the accent, and Scott Steiner being Scott Steiner, and Samoa Joe with Samoa Joe being Joe. Sting originally made this group because he complained nobody had his back at the freaking pay-per-view.
Yes.
So who's the first person he brings? Someone that sat on his ass in the back while Sting was getting beat up. Who's the next person that they're gonna bring? Another fat fuck that sat on his ass in the back while Sting was getting beat. Like, that completely defeats the purpose.
It does.
If you're starting off, I think my one thing with TNA that it's hard for me to understand is that they're the company that don't want you to suspend belief.
Yeah.
They want you to think it's real.
Yeah, it is true.
Yet, the stuff that they're doing completely contradicts that.
Yeah.
Like, how am I supposed to buy that Kurt Angle's like the guy, that your first guy you pick, when just in the same episode or the week before you said you're making this group because nobody had your back, when Kurt Angle was back there and didn't have your back.
He could have been one of the ones that had his back.
And then on top of that, it's just, I don't buy it. Like it's the whole beginning's falling flat on me. Like I don't even know where they're going with it.
And every time TNA does something on the cusp of greatness, they have something that like
you mentioned the Aces and Eights. I wait for me till the Aces and Eights make the Wolfpack. It's too late. TNA already got it covered. It's TNA, and then it's Main Event Mafia, and then it's Aces and Eights, and then up there in the darkness is AJ. Like they're already getting there. Going back.
I mean, they're already starting to split off into Aces and Eights with Doc and him. Mouthing off to...
That was another booking thing I couldn't understand. Like,
but then on last week's episode, he wound up making a save for one of the Aces and Eights guys, and everything was cool, like copacetic, like normal again.
Yeah, and I mean, if Doc were to be a Aces and Eights reject, well, then he could join the other Aces and Eights reject, D-Lo, which we haven't seen, and we've never got the official, like, okay, yeah, he's gone, because the last thing we knew is like, well, you're just going to be our little bitch that makes our beers cold. But you're still in the club when he should have been kicked out anyway. So we never got to see the actual kick out, so.
Yeah, he just disappeared.
Yeah, he just disappeared.
I think the whole Main Event Mafia as a group, they should have never done it.
The Main Event Mafia or the Aces and Eights?
The Main Event Mafia that they're using right now to try to combat Aces and Eights. I think that title, the title itself should have never been brought back. Sting bringing in a crop of new guys. Mm-hmm. Magnus. Mm-hmm. He's been joining up in the fight. Hell, if you want to really risk it, why don't you bring in Matt Morgan?
Okay.
Bring in guys that you've worked with Kurt Angle, you've worked with Joe. Where have they gotten you?
Yeah.
Try someone else.
Or even better, like you said, Matt Morgan, he's another guy who's been ostracized by Hogan.
Yeah.
He would be a good one to join Sting's cause.
Here's another idea. People that haven't really been on TNA TV but probably could help out Sting. Some of the gut check dudes. That'll give the gut check dudes something to do because they haven't been on TV, goddammit. Yeah. And it wouldn't be, like you said, the people that were sitting on their ass in the back. It would have been.
I think that's kind of what we were talking about when they first announced the Main Event Mafia getting back together. It's like, we're trying to throw out names and you're naming some guys, but I was like, no. It's main event. Main event. Yeah, exactly.
That kind of cripples how far you can go as opposed to what you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like I was saying this last week, that could just be the name. I mean, you could bring in other people, but you're right.
Imagine a team.
It does stifle it a little.
Imagine a team of Sting, Matt Morgan, Magnus, Crimson. Bulk.
That's not bad.
Height, power, new guys that you haven't tried against Aces and Eights with a captain like Sting. As opposed to the same guys that you've already had before, the same guys that you're complaining about that didn't help you in the first place, that you want to bring them out to make another all-star team that might not work after all the other all-star teams that you've had in TNA since Aces and Eights have shown up.
Right, yeah. If you're gonna, since Sting out and out said it, no one had my back at the pay-per-view, then it would make sense for him to get guys like Crimson and Matt Morgan, people who weren't on the pay-per-view. Yeah. But you can't use Crimson because they brought him back just to bury him.
Yeah.
Right.
Lost his first match out. What the fuck?
Well, that boomstick guy, like, he's a big guy.
There you go.
What's his name?
Jay Bradley?
Yeah, Bradley. Like, he could have been one of those dudes that, could have been in there. But then again, like you said, Main Event Mafia. Yeah. They should have just called it something else if they wanted to go in that direction.
But anybody
they
that
could
was...
call it Sting's Flock.
No. So, no, they could, anybody that was at the pay-per-view, they should not be in
off the list.
Yeah, they should be off, and going back to what Sting, Sting's philosophy, Sting's thinking was, you didn't have my back at the pay-per-view.
Why am I going to trust you again?
Yeah. First guy out. Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, if you want us to suspend our belief, wasn't Kurt Angle the guy that brought in Briscoe and Garrett and they wound up turning his back? Like, why do you want to bring in a guy that's got a track record of bringing in of bringing in guys you can't trust? Why would you bring Kurt Angle in the mix?
Yeah, he's a sucker. Why, he ain't going to help you out at all. All right. That's enough Aces and Eights and Main Event Mafia talk for now. One other thing from TNA that I just wanted to bring up was the hilarious little segment there with Brooke Hogan and the Knockouts.
Hilariously bad.
Yeah, that was kind of not so good.
It was hard watching that.
Exhibit number 10 million of TNA trying to copy WWE. Was it 2 weeks ago we got Stephanie McMahon calling out all the divas, and now they want to try to do their own thing by having Brooke come out and do an address of the whatever.
Yeah.
The first thing I got from that was how shitty the division is.
Yeah.
I want to say shitty. Small.
Depleted.
Yes.
Depleted. Yeah.
That's
Good word.
I don't want to say shitty. I want to say depleted. That's a good word. Yeah.
Yeah, depleted. It's not what it used to be, and that's changed from just a year ago. I mean, if you brought back Angelina Love, if you brought back Awesome Kong,
if you could get Tara healthy,
Tess healthy.
Oh, I forgot about her.
Yeah. There's a lot of people that weren't even in that ring.
Where is Tess?
She was injured for a little while, wasn't she?
Was she?
Yeah.
I didn't hear about that. No.
I don't know if she's healthy now. They just haven't brought her back yet.
I know the Knockouts division storyline's been focusing around those 4 ladies, but I didn't think that's all they had.
But that's what it sounded like. You know, at least when the WWE had theirs, they had even just the face divas. And I think they had 1 or 2 heels, because I remember Tamina was out there. When they said, AJ, these are all the people that are waiting to get a shot at your belt. They brought back everybody.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of divas out there. You know, regardless of their skill level or their talent or their quality or whatever.
Right.
TNA only had like, 4 of them in the ring?
The Gail Kim, the Taryn, in Velvet,
and
ODB.
Mickey.
And then Mickey James was on the ramp.
And Eric Young!
But technically, he's not a female.
He's not a woman.
Yes.
Yeah. By his own admittance.
Yeah.
That was the best part of that segment. It was hilarious.
Because if he would have admitted it, I would have never known.
Yeah, I would have never known.
I was like, wow, this is the first knockout that they let wrestle topless. Like, wow, we're
Yeah.
getting there. Woo! Yeah, a few more years, we'll get the whole division. Yeah. Then we're getting TNA for sure. Yeah. Giggity.
Well, okay, let's talk a little bit about what happened there with EY and ODB. They handed over to the Knockouts tag team title.
No, they remember that they had the titles.
Right. And
then they gave them up.
Then they handed it over. Does that mean those titles are gone now for good, or is Brooke going to hold on to them until they find a worthy...
If you want to go off that segment, I'm going to say they're dead and buried.
Okay,
so. They only have 4 divas, or 4 knockouts, whatever.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not going to be a tag team.
It was hard enough to imagine those belts being defended on a full roster.
Yeah.
Much less, because they had Sarita, Rosa, they had all these other tag teams.
They had at least 3 or 4 decent teams. They had the Beautiful People. They had the Mexicans you just mentioned. They had, I forget. There were more.
But there was a couple of others.
There was at least...
They even brought in international, Japanese.
Hamada.
Hamada, yeah.
Like, they had at least enough people where they could have made a decent division. Like, they weren't defended every
Taylor
week.
Wilde? Yeah. Taylor Wilde and Hamada, right?
Yes.
It was defended every week. It was a pay-per-view or every now and then. It wasn't a thing where you needed to build a tag team division.
Now that title's dead.
That title, no. There isn't enough talent to support it.
Yeah, and if they were going to do something, they would have done something...
a long time ago.
Well, no, I was going to say, like, they would have, handed it to Brooke, and then at that same time, what Brooke should have done was, okay, now that they're vacant, we're going to have a tournament.
Thank God that didn't happen.
Yeah, but, they could fix that by saying, we're going to be bringing in some new talent in the next few weeks to be having some kind of tournament for it, because they can't obviously have... literally half of their division as the tag team champions.
Oh man!
So I think those titles are dead and buried.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah. So we go in from that part of it, from Brooke just basically tossing the titles in the trash can, pretty much. And then we get into what happened after the feud. I mean, they talked about Gail Kim. She got on the mic about wanting a shot.
Yeah. The rest of that's kind of blurry.
Yeah,
I
too.
remember all that. The things that stood out was the fact that they tried to copy WWE doing their own skit. Eric Young saved it.
But then he went away.
And then the other part that I kind of enjoyed was the fact that Brooke Hogan, to her credit, she just ran with it. There wasn't a script. There were times where
there's definitely not a script.
She addressed the crowd, She reminded them that they're aware that they're out there, and she just went with it.
You think Brooke did a good job?
I think she did all right, considering the fact what she had out there. Besides Eric Young, there wasn't a lot to bounce off of, but there was she made us aware that she was still there. Like if there was something going on between the girls,
she did try to be like an authority figure and say, "We need to get back on track. We need to get back to this meeting, or whatever." So I can see where you're saying that. Her acting ability was just like, ugh.
I just stare at a rack half the time anyway. I don't know.
Well, you have to. It's easier to stare at her face.
Well, boys and girls, in case you haven't noticed, Abel went to take a piss. We're almost 2 hours deep in the show, and I think we still haven't finished talking about TNA. And then on top of that, we still have more stuff to talk about.
Welcome to the podcast, Chris.
Man, this is awesome. Yeah, if anything,
You having a good time? Yeah,
dude. I don't know what to do with my hands. Like,
hey! Keep it. This is my house, man. Come on now, calm down.
you got a room I could borrow?
No, I don't.
I can, I can.
You go in your car, man.
I can design. I can put some nice little.
You ain't put nothing on nothing, right?
On your GI Joe figures back there, I'll put a nice glaze coating
Damn
for
sure
protection.
you damn sure ain't getting in that room, right? Hands where I can see you, buddy.
Oh man, that's why they're on the table. I feel like Ricky Bobby. I don't know what to do with my hands.
Oh Jesus! All right.
So what's next?
Just the fact
wait
that
for Abel.
Yeah, have you checked Twitter?
You completely beat me to it. I was gonna check Twitter. If the Miz is trending right now, then we know why. He left his phone. Damn.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. Should I take it to him? I don't know. Man.
Remind him we're doing a podcast.
Oh yeah.
We're doing it live. Remember?
You're still getting paid for this.
No, he's not.
Dude. Oh no.
No.
Oh man.
He don't get paid.
If you need a second position, apparently he stepped out. So,
Yeah, step right over here.
You know what? Yeah, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. So how do I sound now on this side?
Probably the same, but louder.
Yeah, I still sucked on it.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, basically the knockout segment sucked.
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, what do you think about Mickie James's heel turn? Her attitude and her personality and whatnot.
Oh, hey, our special guest, Abel, or also known as Mark, is back. Oh, yeah. So how was the bathroom?
It was clean.
Yeah, it was clean. Yeah.
Was.
Oh. God
And
damn it.
you were worried about me.
What did I tell you about that, Abel?
Sorry.
Jesus.
So they're aware that
I damn near pissed myself.
yeah, it wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah, no.
Well, thank you for not doing that in my house.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that.
I thought
More than you know.
I
So
thought you would.
The people on the internet are already aware that we're in our marathon mode
Is that so?
of our podcast. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
geez.
No breaks. No breaks here.
2 hours and 6 minutes, and that's before the interview. That's before the intro. That's before whatever's next on this notepad that I'm looking at right now. So, oh damn! That's
All right. Well, okay. All that stuff about the knockouts. That was the only thing I really wanted to bring up and have as a topic of conversation. That little segment there, and I kind of heard y'all going off on it a little bit, so that's cool. Were you guys done talking about the knockouts?
Yeah.
Did you have something to add to it?
No, not really.
We were finished before you left. We were still on time.
Oh, okay, good. Well then, let's move on. I wanted to bring up a few things from Ring of Honor, actually.
Yes.
There was one thing that was kind of circling around the internet the last couple of days, and that's the Briscoes. They might be on their way out.
Them boys.
Yeah.
Them boys.
Man up.
Yes, sir.
I'm looking forward to wherever they go.
I find it interesting time frame for this, especially with the White family. I could definitely see the Briscoes, maybe part of that, maybe as enforcers or whatever, as part of the White family, maybe.
Okay.
Teeth in or teeth out?
Well, let's say before the matches, in, after matches, out.
They need to put in their eating teeth.
Yeah.
Chomper.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you think that the rumors are true that they might be heading to the WWE?
I don't know. Possibility. I mean, but we have one of the Briscoes as ROH's champ.
Yeah. So that's kind of. Well,
I think
that didn't stop Tyler Black.
What started this? I mean, was it the fact that they're not not listed on any more ROH bookings for the?
Yeah.
That's a good sign, I guess.
Yeah, they're not listed for the bookings, but then again, that could just be some sort of clerical error where somebody just hasn't booked them. I mean, dude, one of them's their champ. So
would another sign be that their last Best in the World pay-per-view that they just had a week ago had Jay and Mark as the main event competing against each other? That's kind of a way to finish off.
Yeah, that could be a good send-off,
Yeah.
Maybe, but they've wrestled each other before, though.
But as a main event, though?
Yeah.
Is their own, the name of their own pay-per-views? Is their Best in the World? Or what is it called?
Best in the World.
Yeah.
Pay-per-view. Pay-per-view. Yeah.
I don't know. But, didn't they at one point, try to get into the WWE, had a tryout match or something, and it just didn't work out?
Yeah.
I don't know if they'd be able to really fit into the WWE. At least their style, anyway. I don't know if they know really what to do with them.
I would be afraid that if they do go into WWE, they would turn into Santino, where they have the ability, but they're going to be more focused on maybe the redneck gimmick of it. They're going to be cartoon characters.
They're just going to amp up the redneck stuff and just make them.
Yep. Where the Wyatt family is going to be the serious, like, crazy heel team, the Briscoes are going to be the polar opposite of that. They're going to be...
Yeah, and
I kind of like negating my previous...
a little bit, yeah, because, after all, with the Wyatt family, they can... they've proven that they can have rednecks. But I don't think they're rednecks. They're more Cajuns. But anyway, still, it's just... Yeah, you contradicted yourself a little bit.
I can see them going either way, pretty much.
Okay.
I don't know where they would fit in the tag team division, period, because this is probably one of the best times in a while that WWE has had a really full tag team division. I mean, they've got primetime players. Up until now, they had Kane and Daniel Bryan. They've got the Usos. They've got 3-man band. They've got Sweet Tea and the Tons of Funk.
Yeah, Funk and Source.
Rose Scholars. They had Orton Sheamus for a while. That's at least 17.
As soon as Tyson Kidd and Justin Gabriel get back.
That's 8. Yeah. And that's just off the top of my head. There might be
Airborne or Airboom or whatever the fuck their name is.
9.
Yeah.
So... And then the Shield, obviously 10. And if you're bringing in the Wyatt family, I know there's 3 of them. They got to do something with 2 of them.
Yeah,
and that's 11.
Yeah.
So where would the Briscoes fit in that kind of thing? And hopefully would it be to the point where they bring back like the tag split and SmackDown has their tags and Raw has theirs, because then that would deplete the whole roster again. But assuming they keep the one set of belts, where would they fit? Or would you bring them? Or would you bring one or both of them in as singles people?
I don't know, but get back to what you just said. All those tag teams. Who would have thunk like 2 years ago you would have like, 2 handfuls of actual tag teams.
Well,
there's something to be said right there too.
Yeah, you're right.
You guys at home missed to the fellatio thing that he did with his hands while he was
getting delirious now.
yeah, that was kind of exciting there. Okay. Well, okay.
I'm trying to push the mic away closer to Abel because he looks like he wants it closer.
No, I'm fine.
He likes it in his face. Okay, so...
You move it closer. We're going downhill, folks.
What I was going to say is
it only took 2 hours.
They have all these tag teams. They do, but how many of them are they actually doing something with?
3-man band.
3-man band are just, they're jobbers. They're not doing anything with them.
They're jobbing for the other tag teams. Usos, Tons of Funk, Rogue Scholars, Shield.
Primetime players.
Primetime players. Orton and Sheamus, they're not really doing much anymore. Kane and Dan Bryan is obvious they're not doing much anymore. Yeah,
White Snake.
But there's still there's still at least 6 or 7 good tag teams out there that they can throw in the mix.
Well, for there to be a division with that many competitors, like how you listed off, what was it, like 10 teams there?
10.
Yeah, yes, 10. Thank you for the...
Yes, Fellatio boy, 10.
Dr. Magic Fingers over here, 10, yes.
That's what ladies call me.
With that many
ladies,
teams...
if you don't want to get kicked out of this house.
Good call, sir. Up top.
Okay. Well, but my point is, with that many tag teams, you would think that the tag team division would be a little bit hotter than what it is right now. Yeah, we talked about a little bit earlier in the podcast that it's going somewhere, but it's not somewhere already. It's going somewhere. And with that many teams, you think it would have be a little bit better off than what it is now, Mm-hmm. And I don't know, you're talking about bringing in the Briscoes. I hope they don't get lost in that shuffle down there towards the bottom of the list of, tag teams that are doing nothing, jobbers or on injured reserve, because I think the Briscoes could be a really damn good tag team. Hell, they are a really damn good tag team. But like you were saying, they could split them up. That's what ROH did. That's why, you have one as a champ and one as a challenger there.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I guess we're going to have to just file that under wait and see.
And plus, would we have to, if they sign with WWE or whatever, would they go in, or would we have to wait another 1.5, 2 years before we get them out of development?
Yeah, goddamn, like Cassius Ohno. He still hasn't freaking debuted, man.
You mean Chris Hero?
Yeah, Chris Hero.
God damn it, that's his name. Cassie's Ono.
Or fucking El Generico. You know?
He just got there. Generico's only been there a couple of months.
That's a whole new package. You know, they're redoing his old gimmick.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, okay. Well, I mean, that could be something that happens to the Briscoes. They totally repackage him, get him some dentures, have him grow some hair, and say that they're from the
or cut some hair.
Say they're from the nice side of Vermont.
What? Oh, jeez.
In other news, the great show that we had at San Antonio for Ring of Honor.
Yes.
That DVD finally went on sale today. So if you cheap fuckers want to save $5, we after the show we found out that they were offering a stream on the website for $15, and then they gave you the option to order the DVD or pre-order the DVD for $10 more,
right?
Which brought to $25,
right?
And then after shipping, you paid another $5, which made your purchase $30 fucking bucks. So now, if you want to order the DVD by itself, if you want to wait a couple of weeks for them to send it to you, it's gonna be $20 plus $5 shipping, which means it's only
$25.
$25.
So you save a whole $5.
A whole $5 motherfucking dollars, man. I should have just spent the fucking money when we first found out.
Right?
I know, man. We could have already had the DVD by now, man. Damn. We could have been getting shit-faced drunks at some dude's house watching Ring of Honor and didn't be just as much of an asshole as we were at the show.
Which you were quite the asshole at the show.
No, you'd be listening to yourself being an ass at the show.
I'm curious to see how much of the crowd, how much of the smarkiness actually ends up on tape. I don't even know if there's commentary on that show or if they just play the matches. Because not just our group in general. Yeah, there was another competing section with us of a bunch of geeks that just wanted crap, and we gave them crap. We gave people around us crap with people that. I'm not even buying the movie just for the matches. I'm buying to hear myself be an ass.
Well, I mean, after we put up this podcast online, you can listen to yourself being an ass.
And for free.
For free.
For free, yes. Yeah. Now, we also, more Ring of Honor news, we've also heard that they haven't been having a whole lot of success with their iPay-per-view feeds. This last one, it's really shit the bed. They screwed the pooch. Whatever other kind of euphemism you want to put in there. And from what I hear,
fucked up.
They fucked up.
Yes, oh god.
To the point where it can no longer be fixed.
Yes.
To the point where there will no longer be live iPay-per-views anymore.
Chris, if anyone was still listening to this, that would have been very offensive to somebody.
Oh no, for the 3 or 4 people that are still listening to the show, we appreciate you very well. Travis and Abel appreciate you very much. I'll forget this whole night happened tomorrow.
So iPay-per-views So iPay-per-views going away.
Live feeds are going away.
Oh, the live feeds.
The live feeds. You'll still be able to get them in the next day or two on demand. But as far as showing it live in the moment for people that want to watch it live and they can't make it at the show, you're pretty much fucked because you're not going to need to spend your money and lose it by having a shit feed. We've been talking with one of our friends, Scott. He's been wanting to do an iPay-per-view Ring of Honor. He's been wanting to get into it for a while, and it actually heightened his wanting to do it after the show. And so much for that. Yeah,
This is definitely a step backwards for ROH because we were talking about being so jealous of San Antonio that they actually get Sinclair Broadcasting and get to watch ROH on TV, but we don't here in Houston, which is crap because we're a bigger market.
Right? You would think it would make sense, right?
Yeah. But now they've taken away another option for guys like us to actually watch their product. And we've said this, close around to within the first 10 episodes of our podcast. It's like, we wish we could cover Ring of Honor more because Ring of Honor is just so damn good. Their in-ring product is so amazing. But it's so inaccessible. It's just hard to watch ROH stuff.
I don't know if it's so much as hard. It's just what we're used to. I'm used to sitting down in front of my big 55-inch TV, turn on the channel. It's on this channel. I'm watching Raw on television. Yeah. I as much as I want to try to get into more wrestling, I can't make the effort to get off my ass, get in front of a small screen computer, or get on my phone on YouTube, or get on the website and try to watch a Ring of Honor episode 3 or 4 days after it's already happened on the internet, as opposed to watching it when it's supposed to be aired. You know, sometimes SmackDown, you know, we don't watch it because we already know it's going to happen, or because it's on a Friday, or there's too much wrestling. But if it's Ring of Honor, we don't get a lot of Ring of Honor. You'll want to watch Ring of Honor more, as opposed to watching just another WWE episode or watching TNA or whatever. And the fact that we can't get it the way everyone else gives it to us. You know, WWE's on television. TNA, it's on Spike. You know, ROH, they're making strides. You know, it's not our fault we don't have Sinclair, but whoever does have it, they're getting there.
Yeah.
You know, slowly but surely they're getting there. We're just impatient motherfuckers. We want it here. We want it now. We want to get into it.
Okay, I admit. All right, fine. Damn it, I want to watch ROH.
Hey, you know what? TV. I mean, we had it, you know, HDNet.
We did, and I watched every fucking episode. Yes. I watched every episode of that, and it was great. I was like, 100% carrying the banner for ROH, and I thought it was the best thing since sliced bread. And then
he even wore his ROH shirt while he watched it.
Yes, and my ROH underwear. You know, and it went off the air, and I'm like, oh, that sucks. And then I hadn't watched really with any consistency since, you know.
Yeah, that's already been, 2 years? Or?
Yeah, something like that. And, you know, kind of lost track of a lot of stuff, you know.
And not to sound contradictory here, but as much as we don't make the effort to watch it on the internet, that was something different that they were offering that WWE and TNA couldn't match, you know. Because if you wanted to order pay-per-view online, WWE online, through their website, or even on Xbox Live, which the WrestleMania feed also crashed on Xbox Live, and they had their own issues, you know. But if Ring of Honor is offering a pay-per-view for $10, regardless of how you get it, $10 or $15 beats $45, $55 on HD, $35 TNA's offering, or wherever else, you know. But the fact that you can't trust yourself in purchasing that, knowing that they have the history that almost every feed they have is going to crash, that their customer support sucks, or you're not going to find out what happens unless 3 or 4 days later on their website, or somebody that you know is posted on Twitter or Facebook or on wrestling websites. You know, when you have that kind of track record, you can't really build on that to get more people into your product.
Yep. It's a shame because it's just... It seems as though there's kind of like this weird balance where WWE, out of the big three, between WWE, TNA, and ROH, WWE probably has, overall, in general, the lowest in-ring quality. Then you go to TNA, the in-ring quality is a little bit better, but, you know, there's not as much. You only have 2 hours, and, you know, the programming and
the pacing they have bad pacing.
They have bad pacing. And then you have Ring of Honor that has like the best wrestling out of all of them, but you know they have even less content that you could actually watch them, and the content's even more inaccessible and it's harder to see. You know, it's kind of weird that there's that sliding scale. Like the more exposure you get, the more hours of programming that you get on TV. It seems like
the more watered down the product becomes, the more lax, the less competition.
Well, it's like in sports. Exactly. You know, you got NFL or NBA. You know. It's the most out there, you know, but it's the most, you know, saturated market, you know. But then that's why people watch like college games, you know. It's more. I guess you can consider that the equivalent to the indie scene, you know.
Well, I don't know. I would think that in real sports, quote unquote, the scale goes the other way around. Because I think the quality, like if you were to sit down and watch an NBA game, the quality of the players and the on-court entertainment, I guess you could say, is better in the NBA than it would be in college, and in college it's better than what it would be in high school. You know,
but I don't know. I get the opposite. I've heard people say that they watch it just for that reason. You know, they watch it just to get away from the whole hoopla or whatever of the spectacle of NBA or whatever.
Well, I don't know. I'm not really that much of a sports fan, so
I was kind of hoping this guy over here
lost me
talking out of my ass.
All right, so
we know. Let's stick to wrestling. Stick to what we know.
Ooh, boobies, slams.
All right.
Thank you, Chris.
Thanks, Chris. Yeah. Oh boy. All right. Let's talk a little bit about indies. We have ROW.
You beat me to it. Ladies and germs, Travis got up and walked the fuck off.
Yes, he did.
I guess it's his turn to go to the bathroom, man. We're at 2 hours and probably 45 minutes, 55 minutes, because if we're adding in the intro.
Yeah, but I'll be able to edit out
He's
some
cutting
of
all
this
your shit
stuff.
off.
Oh, he's cutting all my shit off?
Yeah,
I feel like I've talked a lot.
Yeah, you have.
Yeah. You haven't been complaining for the last 2.5 fucking hours.
All right.
Still getting paid.
Sure. Yeah, checks in the mail. Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about Booker T's Reality of Wrestling. Last night during Raw, they were teasing throughout the Raw broadcast on their Facebook page that somebody is going to be coming to the next ROW show. And at the end of Raw, they revealed who it was, and it's going to be MVP. So MVP's coming again to Booker T's ROW, so that's pretty cool. We saw him, what was it, January? Yeah, January. And it was it was pretty cool seeing him there, and it was kind of well received. He was a face at the beginning of the night, and then at the end of the night, he kind of had a heel turn there. Mm-hmm, yep. And him and Booker kind of yelled at each other a little bit, and he stormed off, and we thought that was going to be a pretty cool little setup for maybe the next month of February, for him to come back and actually have like a storyline type thing happen. But it didn't happen. And here we are going into
Abel just got over that, by the way.
Yeah.
It'll be alright.
I know. We're going into the July show, and now MVP is going to be here. I wonder if they're going to be like, hey, this is a special guest, and woo, we have a special guest, and not acknowledge any stuff that happened in January, or if they're going to play off of what happened in January and continue that as a storyline.
I don't know, man. That was back in January, so it could just be a one-off thing, or if they really want to try to play it off, they could if they wanted to, but I don't know if they...
That's too long of a time span, I think.
You think
so?
And
nothing really, I mean, all that really happened when you say to heal it up was he just, he kind of, Booker had to break him up for something, and he kind of gave Booker a
well, he beat up on, oh God, who was it? Was it Abel Andrew Jackson?
I don't know, it was back in January, Abel.
I was not present for that taking down of the section.
All I'm saying is I'm interested to see whether or not they're going to continue this little storyline that they had with him. And yeah, what it was is that he was beating up on one of the faces there from ROW and said, I got to beat respect to this guy, and I guess Booker's not teaching his kids right or whatever. And then Booker got out there. It's like, what are you doing beating up? And they had a little exchange, and that's it. So I wonder if they're going to build off that, or if it's just going to be, hey, this is our special guest for this month, and that's it. That's all I'm trying to get at.
Well, there's one way to find out.
Going to the show?
Yes, July 13th. Clear Lake Recreational Center.
Yes, sir. Bell time 7-ish?
7:30ish.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
7:30, 8:30.
It'll get there. If you're there before 8, you probably get there on time.
Yeah, you'll be alright.
Yeah, you'll be alright.
So that was one thing I wanted to bring up that I'm looking forward to ROW.
Chris, are you going to be at this show?
I sure hope so. I think I am.
Oh,
it'll be a while. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen you there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hooray! We'll get to see you there.
Hopefully, it'll be the first show I get thrown out of.
Oh, geez.
Oh, is that your goal?
Guy.
Yeah.
You try to? Is that your goal for all your shows?
Well, hell, if I can't make it in the school, I'm gonna just run to the ring and just see what happens.
So basically, if you go to the show, bring a camcorder.
Yes.
Right. So that you can record Chris.
YouTube that shit.
Yeah. All right. There was a couple of other indie shows that happened this past weekend, I believe. Was there? I don't even know.
CWF?
Yeah, that's right. It was CWF.
They had Joey Ryan from TNA. He was there. And I believe they had Brian Christopher. He was there too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I didn't, get to go out to that. Maybe if any of our listeners out there that went to that show want to share pics or tell us what happened or say how you liked it or whatever, feel free to contact us at our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Houston Wrestling Radio, or on our Twitter @HWrestlingRadio. Just give us a shout. Don't be afraid to let us know what's going on in the world of wrestling here.
You can also email us at HoustonWrestlingRadio@gmail.com.
Yeah, you could do that. That'd be.
And while you're looking,
aren't you also on Pinterest or Netflix or some Twitcher or what other new thingy you guys coming out that all the young kids are doing?
Well, we're on Instagram.
Yeah.
Instagram, where we sometimes post the pictures, and then we also got our show on Twitter. Stitcher. Sorry, you got me all kinds of screwed up here. Yeah, Stitcher. You could go on there, download the app, search for Houston Wrestling Radio, and you could stream on the go on your iPhone or smartphone powered by Android. So, ta-da! You could do that, and then of course we're always on iTunes. That's old stuff. You know about that, right, Chris? Yeah, iTunes.
I'm still on the iTunes stuff.
Okay,
for now.
Yeah. All right.
You guys still awake out there? I know it's been a while. Sorry.
All right. I think, you know what, that's going to wrap it up for tonight, unless there's anything else you guys wanted to add on there.
Dude, I wanted to go another 2 hours, but I'm afraid we're going to get thrown out.
I will throw you out, actually.
Yes, he will. He's an asshole. Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
I'll throw you out. Yeah.
That's probably why we get along so well.
Yeah, right. He doesn't understand.
I'll never get it. Never get it.
All right. Thanks so much for tuning in and listening today, guys. We'll have another episode for you next week, as usual. So check us out, like us, subscribe, give us a little thumbs up thingy on Facebook and on YouTube, and if
you don't like me, complain on Facebook.
Yes. Yeah, do that.
Yeah.
Complain about them a lot. All right. Adios, my friends. Keep it classy.
Go fuck yourself, San Diego.